the mist of our minds. I know we'll find your hands the same as mine, and your warm heart speaks to my mind. Maybe I'll never know the dreams that haunt your nights and how you care.
Hi, I'm Tim Cook, and I'm the guy that's leading this expedition down the Zambezi. So I'm 50 this year, and I wanted to do something to celebrate my 50th, and I was thinking of rowing across the Atlantic, and then one of my kids said, why don't you do something that's a bit more different to that, Dad? For example, rowing down the Zambezi.
It's the smoke that thunders, that carries us on through the light, and the love of each other.
And I said, well, I don't think that's possible to do because no one's done it. So, you know, it must be one of those things that you can't do. So I had a look on Google Earth, zoomed in, had a look at the shape of the river and this sort of thing, and thought, actually, it probably is possible to do it. And that was about a year ago. And here we are now in the final stages of getting the expedition ready to go.
I'm Joy Skipper. I've rowed for about 14 years. I've never done long distance rowing, but I've done things like I've climbed Kilimanjaro and Mount Meru and things like that. So things on my legs, but not on water before. Somebody that had rowed the Indian Ocean, I helped her with her nutrition before she went, and she just sent it on to me knowing that I would be interested. I thought about it for a bit and then decided, yeah, it was something I couldn't miss out on, so I contacted Tim, met up with him, and he said, right, I'm going to try and talk you out of it. So basically he was trying to tell me of all the scary things that I, probably wouldn't like, and then I went away for another day and thought about it and still decided I needed to do it.
I'm Simon Kingston. I'm the complete novice in the crew. I haven't rowed before, if you exclude 2 sessions in a tub with a very patient Tim. It's going to be a very interesting challenge to learn to row in the next 6 months, but going to the Zambezi is hugely exciting, and spending a couple of weeks away from my wife and our, we hope by then, 4-month-old baby will be an intriguing proposition.
My name is Jakov Mutnikas. I'm a very keen rower. I'm reasonably fit, but I think preparing for this type of row will take different type of preparations. I think the biggest challenge is vis-a-vis all the crew to line up, that we all understand, have the same expectations from the trip. I've been involved in endurance rowing before, so in a 2 hours off, 2 hours on type of exercise, this is slightly different. This is 8 hours on and then the rest of the evening off.
This is your daughter?
That's my daughter.
And so you mentioned...
She's not coming.
Okay.
This
Do
time.
you want to go to Zambezi? To the Zambezi with your dad? No, not interested.
I wanted to do something that is connected to the medium on which we're basing the project, so something to do with water. And so what I thought would be a good idea would be to find a charity that's providing either clean water or sanitation services to villages in that part of Africa. Having a look around on the web again, I came across a charity called Village Water, which only operates in that part of Zambia. So what they do is provide clean water into villages. They also provide sanitation services in the villages as well. And it's particularly important because in a lot of those places the young men have left and gone to the Copper Belt or to Lusaka and left the villages without able-bodied men.
It's the smoke. Thunder that follows us on through the light, and the love
when we first started the expedition, the idea was to have two of us rowing as fast as possible down the river with a support team coming down behind in a couple of boats. We've changed it a little bit from there. So what we're going to do now is to make sure that we're all going down together. So I've got people of similar rowing standards and abilities, some variation, younger, fitter, older, more experienced, but also the same attitude going down, because ultimately what I want to happen here is that if there's a situation we have on the river, if things get difficult or we have some hairy moment, I just want to be sure that everyone is going to react in a kind of calm way and we all have the same objective.
It's the smoke that thunders that will fall.
Yes, I've spent a bit of time in Africa, mainly in East Africa, in Kenya, and a little time in Botswana. I've been to Victoria Falls once or twice, but the most recent experience in Africa has actually been in North Africa. I was in Tunis 3 weeks ago when it all began to get very exciting in the streets there. But I wouldn't claim I know exactly what to expect when we arrive at the Angola end of this particular trip. So I have some sense of the environment, but I wouldn't claim to be an expert at all.
Battles are not left behind.
I know what to expect out of African bush and African environment because of my previous travel. But this is going to be somewhat different because it's a bit kind of remote, and there's a rowing component to this thing. So yeah, it's going to be different.
I'd assumed that all you have to do is stick an advert up somewhere and you get loads of people coming to you. It's actually been a bit harder than that. So what I've done is I've recruited people that I know. So I've gone out through own networks to find people as well. So my son's been particularly good at bringing in friends and people that he knows. But also we've advertised now. We've created a website. We put on the website, come and join us, and we've had one or two people interested in that. And the majority of the people are people that I've spoken to personally and told them about the expedition. They thought about it and then they got back in touch and said they'd like to do it. So we've got quite an interesting group of people coming together. We've got a mixture of ages, so early 20s. In fact, the youngest on the expedition is going to be 19. The oldest is going to be about 62, I think 63, although I'm not supposed to know what all the ages are. But we've got this nice mixture between early 20s through 30s, 40s, 50s and early 60s. And the biggest thing for me has been trying to make sure that I've got a group of people who have the same kind of temperament rather than pure rowing ability. I think there's probably a practical aspect to it as well, is that as the expedition goes on and we get more and more tired, then the older ones, and I'm including myself in that, can relax, and Cox and all the younger ones can row us all the way down. That's the idea. So we're going to keep the younger ones for the end.
The thunder